SheSoDramatic. Thank you for joining me for another video. Today I need to get caught up. I need to catch up on my monthly reading recaps. I am a little behind, which, funny story, my advisor from grad school, who is just the loveliest woman, like I adore her so much. She's definitely somebody that I look up to and aspire to be more like. But I can remember, asking her how she was doing. How's your day going, Dr. Landre? How's it going? And she would always say, oh, I'm a little behind, but I'm getting there. Or I'm a little behind, but she would always preface it that way, saying, I'm a little behind, but. And it was something that just always tickled me at the time. But looking back on it, I realized what she was doing was giving herself grace. And that is something that I desire to do more of, especially in this season of my life. I am just committed to being kinder to myself, giving myself that grace that I deserve. And so even though I find myself saying that quite a bit, I'm a little behind. Even though I find myself saying that a lot here lately, it's okay. I'm gonna get there. The building's not on fire. The earth is not going to stop rotating. It's okay. So said all that to say, I'm behind on my book recaps. I haven't done a video since the January recap, which was that one single book that I read. And so what I figured I would do is combine February and March together and share with you what I'm reading, what I've been enjoying, what I'm looking forward to for the next month. We are actually in April. We're already halfway through April, so I'll definitely get all of that shared. And I do this not just for, any of you joining me here on YouTube who might be amused or entertained by these videos, but I do this also to keep myself accountable. So I am planning to be more consistent with these videos for that reason. I do find myself in the middle of another transition, just kind of in life. And so I'm settling into that more. And I'm probably at the most peace that I've been at in a while. Did I say that right? I have the most peace right now than I've had in quite a while. So as I'm settling into that, I'm hoping that I can be more consistent with a lot of things. So not just these book recaps, but I've got to get consistent with my health and just some other lifestyle things that I need to improve. Anyway, I went all the way around the block. February and March recaps. Okay, so I'm looking here at my computer at my Goodreads page to remind me of everything that I've read. And it's not a lot, but let me not even set it up that way, to remind me of the few books that I've read. So for February, I'm going to pull most of these books up on my iPad because several of them were Kindle reads, and then I also had a couple of Audible books as well. And so I'm going to pull these up to share with you. So in the month of February, one of the books that I read was called Rare Danger. There's a glare because the sun is on this side of the house at this time in the afternoon. But this is Beverly Jenkins' Rare Danger. So this one was kind of a thriller romance, which is another genre that I really, really love. And it's the story of a librarian who was dealing in some antique and rare collections that finds herself in the middle of some danger, and the hero who saves the day. So that's all I'll say. These videos really aren't meant to summarize the books, but just to kind of recap and tell you what I've enjoyed and what I didn't enjoy. So this was one that I did enjoy. And if I haven't said it already, the romance genre, specifically my favorite is historical romance. But I do love the romance genre as my genre to decompress. So when I just need kind of something that's kind of a little bit more mindless, and I don't know, kind of think of like if you watch reality TV or your favorite TV show to decompress, that's what I use the romance genre for, because it's I don't even know how to explain it. But I say that to say my favorite romance authors are Beverly Jenkins and Brenda Jackson, because the kind of romance that I like is a sweet story. I don't necessarily like urban contemporary urban romance. Like I don't want nothing with a whole bunch of fussing and drama and baby mamas and baby daddies and cussing, and that's not the kind of story that I want to decompress to. So I like a really sweet romance, you know, where there's manners and they go out on dates and the man is courting the woman, and you know, that's the kind of stuff that I gravitate to. So I said all that to say Beverly Jenkins' Rare Danger was one of my February reads, and I really, really enjoyed this one. Okay, so next up was this book by Monique Morris called Push Out: The Criminalization of Black Girls in Schools. And so this was my one of my nonfiction books, probably might have been the only one. I'm looking here at the list. Yeah, this was the only nonfiction book that I read for the month of February. So this was a good one. This was a little bit of a harder read for me because it's a subject that's close to my heart, and reminded me so much of my students, that it was a tough read. So again, these videos aren't really to summarize the book. I'll kind of let you do your own research. I did enjoy it, but it was a tough read. It pulled on my heartstrings a lot because I saw so many of my students in these girls' stories. Next up is The Quiet Ones by Brandon Massey. So one of my other favorite genres to read is thriller and suspense, and I am really enjoying Brandon Massey's books here lately. He's been an author that's been on my radar for a while, and I just have not taken the time to really dig into his category of books. His catalog, child. So I had not taken the time to really dig into his catalog of books. And so I'm glad that I finally did, because I am really enjoying his style of writing. So in this one, the main character is a young reporter, an up-and-coming reporter who is looking for the sister that she was separated from years ago, when they had gone into the foster care system. And so this one was a really good story of her quest to find out if her sister was still alive, and all of the things that happened in her sister's life since they've been separated. This one was a really good one. I definitely recommend it. Okay, so the next one on my list for the month of February was an Audible read, which doesn't even sound right. It was an Audible listen. This was something I listened to on Audible. So it's called The Ancestors. It's an anthology of short stories by L.A. Banks, Tananarive Due, and Brandon Massey, also in the thriller genre. So, and not just thriller, but like supernatural. And I don't want to say that because it sounds like demonic, and that's not what this was. Like that wasn't what it was giving. But metaphysical, supernatural, super spiritual, that type of vibe. All of these short stories kind of fall in line with that. So this one was one that I listened to on Audible, and I really enjoyed this. Okay, so the next one is another Brandon Massey. This one is called Don't Ever Tell, and this one was a suspense, so not really a thriller, but just a suspense book about the secrets that a young wife is keeping from her husband, secrets from her past. This was one that I did enjoy and would recommend, another Brandon Massey book. Like, I'm really getting into his novels. I'm really enjoying them so far. Okay, so here's the next read. Are we still in February? Hold on, girl, because I done lost track. Show me. No, so we are now into March. Okay, so The Ancestors was the last one that I read in February. Okay, so Don't Ever Tell was a March read. Okay, so now we are on to March, and one of the romance books that I read for the month of March is called Show Me by Sharon Cooper. Yeah, Sharon Cooper. This one was just okay. This was one of those just kind of mindless reads, just to kind of take my mind off of things and decompress, because honestly, I had to look it up just now to remember what it was about. And so that's always an indication that it was just okay if I really did not remember what it was about. It was entertaining. It's not that I wouldn't recommend it. It definitely was entertaining. It just wasn't anything that stuck with me. Show Me by Sharon Cooper. So the next one was called Fortunate by Nikki Blair. This is another one that I can barely remember what it was about. I remember that I was entertained at the time, but oh yeah, this one was better. This one was a little bit better. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you're just looking for something to pass the time. Okay, so here was one that I definitely remember. So this one was called Snowed In at Shenandoah Valley by Tina Martin. And this one was so cute. Like I really, really enjoyed this one. The protagonist in this story was really, really quirky and super funny. This one was not steamy. This romantic read was not steamy at all, like at all. So if you're looking for steamy, this ain't it. But this one was super sweet. I usually like a good combination of steamy and sweet. But I still would recommend this one because the writing was so good and the humor was so good and the protagonist was so relatable. Like, I loved her quirky personality. The last one for March was this book that we read for my book club at the theater, which is called The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abi Dare. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, so let me get up on it so you can see how it's spelled. But this one was a really good one. This was one that I picked for our book club. And with March being Women's History Month, this ended up being really good timing for us reading this book, which was the story of a teenage girl growing up in a rural Nigerian village. Where she is coming of age, but she wants to make her own decisions and kind of buck the tradition, which is for her to get married at a young age. She wants to make her own decisions about her life, which include who she's going to marry, if she's going to get married, when she's going to have kids, if she wants to have kids, and most importantly to her, being able to finish her education. And so this one was one that I really, really enjoyed. Like I said, in the month of March, with it being Women's History Month, and with there being so many changes and laws that are being proposed, which are trying to reverse women's reproductive rights and just other civil rights in general, which makes my heart sad. This was a really perfectly timed read for that. So those were the books that I read for February and March. I want to share with you really quickly what I'm trying to get through right now in April. Did I bring it? Yes, I did. Trying to get through this one right here. This is my nonfiction that I'm reading right now. This in addition to Woman Evolved by Sarah Jakes Roberts. But this one is called This Nonviolent Stuff Will Get You Killed. And this is by Charles E. Cobb Jr. And this is just a story of how, you know, when we hear about the civil rights movement, the stories that usually take the spotlight are all of the nonviolent protests and all of the nonviolent strategies for us to, you know, force this country to give us our civil rights. But this story is highlighting how guns and arming ourselves did play a big part in those movements. So this is definitely a book that I'm enjoying so far. I just really need to sit down and dig in. We started a new play at the theater, and so that is taking up most of my nonfiction research part of my brain. I feel like my brain is separated into sections. And so I feel like that part of my brain is being used right now, but I really do need to get back to this. I had started it, I set it down so that I could research for this new play, and I definitely need to pick it back up and finish it. This Nonviolent Stuff Will Get You Killed by Charles E. Cobb Jr. Okay, and then two other books that I just want to mention really quick before I let you go. For suspense, one of my favorite writers is Walter Mosley for like detective suspense type stories. And so there are a couple of Walter Mosley books that are being made into, one is being made into a movie, one is being made into a series. I believe, yes, The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray is a series that's available on Apple TV, and this is the one with Samuel L. Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. And then they are also making a movie out of this one, The Man in My Basement by Walter Mosley. So I'm adding these to my TBR because I want to read these books first before I enjoy the series and the movie. So just wanted to kind of mention those as books that I'm trying to get through. We already halfway through April. I probably won't get through them this month. So at least I want to say by the end of May, I want to have these books finished by the end of May. I think that's pretty much it. The play that I mentioned that we have started on at the theater is an original work that I'm super duper excited about. If you are here on my channel because you've come over from my Instagram page or my theater's Instagram page, welcome. The play that I'm talking about is called Begetters by Louis J. Morrow. It is a family drama that I am so dang excited to be a part of. This is part of a trilogy that he has written that will be published this fall. And this is the second part in the trilogy. We've already produced the first play in the trilogy, which was called Baber's Tulips. And now this one again is called Begetters. The next one is called Mother Son, and that one will be produced in, when does that one go up? October, September or October is when we open on that one. But anyway, I'm excited about these new and original works. I'm excited for my theater bro, and I'm super duper proud of the work that he has done, and I'm just honored and glad to be a part of it. I am the dramaturg for the production, so I am providing the research and dramatic analysis that is needed for the cast and crew to be able to give their best performance. So I'm excited about that. I just wanted to throw that in there again in case anybody is here from my Instagram page or the theater's Instagram page. And I think that's it. I have rambled for long enough. This has been my This has been my book recap for the months of February and March. And just I'm putting it out into the universe that I will be more consistent in getting these books recapped and uploaded in a more timely manner. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you are well. I hope you are spending time with the people and the things that bring you joy. And I'll see you next time.